Welcome to Data Analysis Scholarship course. This is Cohort 2 of Data Analysis. Today we'll be looking at Excel macros and forecasting, data forecasting, and Excel macros. Kindly let me know if you can hear me. My name is Franklin. I believe I don't need much introduction for this section this night. Alright, kindly let me know if you can hear me. Welcome to the Excel macros and data forecasting. The three stuff we are going to see that we cover this night. Automating our repetitive task, how to predict trends, and at the same time work smart. We are live. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Welcome to us Data Analysis Scholarship course. Welcome to Data Analysis Scholarship course, Cohort 2. Today we will be looking at Excel macros. We will be talking about data forecasting, predicting data, automating repetitive tasks, working smart. I'm your host, I'm your facilitator, Mr. Franklin. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Kindly let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. That will be much appreciated. If you can hear me, if you can see my screen, that much appreciated. Kindly let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. In Data Analysis Scholarship course, Cohort 2. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Drop in the chat, drop in the live chat. Welcome, welcome chat. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, welcome. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. That will be much appreciated. Alright, I guess we have all concluded that Adeyemi Olawale. Alright. Let's quickly go to the scholarship group Cohort 2. Drop there, we are live. Let everyone join now. right. If you are part of the scholarship, go to the scholarship group and let everyone know we are live. Go there, let them know we are live. Tell them we are live, join now. I want us to do that. Let's do that within a minute or two. Let's quickly do that, please, within a minute or two. Head over to Cohort 2, Data Analysis Scholarship, and type to everyone and let them know we are live. Tag as many as possible. Tag them, say we are live, join now. I haven't started taking attendance. If you can hear me, if you can see my screen, drop that in the chat as well. Drop that in the chat as well. And I must say this, for the Cohort 2, our attendance to class is becoming very poor day by day. And that might cause us to take some drastic actions on Cohort 2. Our attendance to class is becoming poor day by day. Welcome, Olu Consults, Olawele Adeyemi, and let permit me to use the last 4 words. Acho, welcome everyone. Let's go to the scholarship group and do that so that we commence immediately. Tag everyone, type we are live, join now. Let's do that, please. Our attendance to class, I need to state that in the live call on this live session, our attendance to class is becoming very, very poor. So our attendance to class is becoming very, very poor. So that might cause us to take some drastic actions. Cohort 1 attendance was quite encouraging from beginning to the end. Cohort 2, the attendance, those of us that have been attending to classes, we know that the attendance is becoming very, very poor. We are like 100 that register for Cohort 2. And currently now the attendance on the live I'm seeing is just like 5-6 persons. And that is not encouraging. However, for the sake of the 5 available this night, I will go ahead to take this class. But going forward, we will review the Cohort 2 attendance and then seek for a better way. All right. Let's quickly delve into what we have. Welcome to Data Analysis course. Today we will be learning Excel macros and data forecasting, how we can automate repetitive tasks and how we can forecast, make some prediction concerning our data sets, concerning what we have, and predict future events. All right, having said that, welcome once again. Let's quickly delve into our Excel and then to begin what we have. Last class we talked about automated entry form or data entry form. If you are working as an administrative personnel, as an inventory specialist, as a sales manager, and all the likes, and you collect data, you don't want to, in a situation where the data collected might not be well represented, might not be well articulated and collected. And you need to design a form that we maintain uniformity, that we maintain accurate the data entry, then this sales entry form is a guide. When you, in the last section, you saw how I was able to design this form, make it, add the conditional formatting, make all this, design the form in this manner. If I zoom in, you will see the form in full format. If I hide this, this will be a form in full format. Now, today I'm going to now show us how to submit. Here we see our submit button. We are going to look at how we can make it to be active in order for persons, once anybody fill the form and then come here and click submit, every details will be submitted to our sales database. This is our sales database. Let me clear everything here. Let me come here and clear all. All right. This is our sales database. This is our sales entry form. You are a sales manager. You design a sales entry form for your sales reps, and you give them the form. When persons buy, these details will be filled. Some companies know much of these details. Some companies have much of these details. Now, having established that, having designed this form, you need to automate it. You need to make it active so that anybody that enters and then you click submit, the information field here will be submitted to database while things here becomes empty. Now, remember the last time I said this is automated. This is automated. Now, today, I don't need to talk about the date of today. We designed this form last week. Last week, we designed this form and we use a function called today. And this function keeps updating. Every day, if I open this the next day, it will give me October 29. Today, we are October 28. That's why you are seeing 10 October 28, 2025. And this is the current time. This is the current time. So when you design the form and you give it to your sales reps or anybody, if it's a staff attendance form, you can also design the form, staff attendance form. When they come, they enter their details, and that it will automatically update. Today, those that comes to office today enters their details and all that and submit. It's sent into the database the time they entered, the time they came, and the time, the dates. So if you want to track a staff that is absent, you can go to your attendance form, and then you take that from your database. Once you go to the attendance database, you can track the staffs that are in attendance and those that were not in attendance. All right, that's on the entry form or Excel automated form. Now let's activate this form. Let's activate this form. We have applied conditional formatting to this and all that. Let's now enter details. Here, let's say, where is our, where did we get something? We get something. Okay. I deleted something here before. All right, let me just enter any stuff here. It won't go because of the data validation. Let me remove the data validation. I will do the, we have land data validation. Let me remove it. Come here and say any value and say okay. So that should go. Any value. What's up? All right. Select any value and say okay. That should go. All right. Now I can enter any transaction ID here, and then invoice number. Let's say this is our invoice number. Salesperson. Let's say this branch location. Let's say if is the location. Customer ID. Let's say customer ID is let me say this, and then customer name is Ade me kind of then phone number, let's type any phone, then this address, email address, let's say ade at gmail. We are going to use this to introduce Excel macros, because we are going to be using macros to activate. We are going to be using macros to activate everything we are doing in order to make it to submit so that this task will not be done repeatedly. You understand what I'm saying? So you will not need to be copying it and be pasting it in the database. You just submit straight. Okay, remarks, let's say we have excellent, and then entered by, let's say I put Jane here, then approved by the manager, enter date, let's say today's date 28, today is 10, that's my date format, 28 2025. Now enter that product ID, let's say the product ID is P this, then product name, let's say Dell, let's say laptop, for example, unit, let's say kg, then quantity sold, let's say 12, the price, unit price, let's say 540,000, all this recorded. Then we come here, discount, if there is no discount, we put 0, no discount there, and then payment method, let's say transfer, amount paid, let's say the person paid okay, 6 million, balance 800 and something thousand, payment status, let's say paid, for example. Now you see, once we have filled every detail here, this becomes active to click. However, having done that, we have filled all our details. Now to submit, this is not active. How do we get it to be active in order to submit? In order to submit, that's what we are going to be looking at. How to get this to be active in order to submit. That's where we make use of our Excel macros. That's where we make use of Excel macros. And to do that, we are going to go to developer. If you don't have this on your laptop or your PC, how to activate it, I think I have shown you that. Just right click here, go to your customize ribbon. When you get to customize ribbon, you will see this developer. It will be like this. Then click on it to check it on, and then you say okay. That's how you can. So you click on developer. Now on the developer tab, you can go over to record macros in order to start any activity, anything we do here, Excel will record it for us. Now that's what we are going to do. But before we do that, let me make sure there is nothing here. Let me just delete this here. Let's come over to this. Now let's record macros. Now to record macro, I will call it, what name should I call it now? Let me call it form _1. Hit enter. So my macro has started. It's running. The macro is running. So to do what do I need to do? I will now come here to select all this. I will come here to select everything here except the count A function. Once I select it, let me copy. So once I copy, I will go to demo. I will go to demo. Now here in demo, I can paste it. Let me go and paste it in demo. Let me paste it as transpose. So once I paste it as transpose, then you see what is showing me. The stuff is this and that. Then I need to paste it as values. And what did I copy? What did I copy? What did I copy? Control Z. Okay, let me go back. Let me stop the macro. Let me stop the macro. That mistake, I didn't know what causes that anyway. So let me start the macro again and do that. We call it form underscore 2. So that's our macro is on. What I will do here is I will copy this, Control C, I will copy it, go to demo. Now on demo, what I can do is, let's say I want to start from here, for example, and I will go to paste. I will go to select paste special. Under paste special, let me use this pattern. I say paste as values and then as transpose. So once that is done, I say okay. That is pasted. All the values are pasted from what I have here. Once that is done, I will Control C to copy this, go to my database. I will head over to my database. Now here is the database. I will come over to this place. Now instead of pasting it straight, Control V, I will go to insert. I will go to insert, click the drop down arrow. You will see this option called insert copied cells. I will click on the insert copied cells. This dialog box will show shift cells right, shift cells down. I will select shift cells down. Why? Because I want that when I receive a new entry, let the old one move down, let the new one be at the top. So every new entry becomes the latest entry. That's what we have, that's what this will help us to achieve. Shift cells down. So once that is done, I will say, okay, my stuff is entered, and then the date is this. I can come here to select this, go over to this and make it short date. Of course, it will display the date. If I have another date as well, where do we have another date? Yes, entry time and date. I will make it that as well, short date, and that comes to play. Okay, then the next I will do is to come to the entry form. Now come to the entry form and start deleting these things one by one. So I will come over to this place and delete. Remember, these ones are formulas. You don't need to delete them. I will come over to this, delete, 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 delete. So I'm going to delete these ones. I will delete them one after the other. Okay, this becomes that discounts. I think discounts, no discounts, we delete. That one is deleted. Tax is 5%. So we have this like this here, and then we delete this. We delete amount page, and then we delete this one. These ones are formulas. So those ones that are formulas, we leave them. So once everything is done, we know that we are okay, everything is okay, then we head over to our developer tab. and then stop macros. Stop macro. So once we do that, that macro ends. So what do? We come over to this our button. Remember, this our button, when it's active, it will display this color. So what do? We need to now assign the macro we recorded to this button. So to assign that, I will select this submit button, which we have formatted in the previous class. Right click on it and go to this option here. When this pop-up menu appears, we go to this option here called assign macro. Now once I click on it, it brings me this. Which macro am I assigning? Personal Excel macro form. I will select the form 2. That's the one I'm going to select, form 2, and then I will say okay. Now once that is done, if I click out and come back to this, you see that it's now clickable. It's showing me that yes, I can click. So now let's now enter data into our form and submit, so that it can automatically submit to our database and give us an empty form, so that another details can be entered. Maybe someone bought stuff from us, we enter it and submit, and another person comes, we enter it and submit as well. So that's what we are going to do. Let's enter a transaction ID. Let's say this is the transaction ID. The date and the time is the same. Invoice number, let's say our invoice number is this. We enter the salesperson, who is the salesperson. Let's say we enter John, and then the location, let's say the location is Lagos, for example, and then we come down to the customer ID. Let's say we have C, this as the customer ID, and the customer name, let's say we have it to be Williams. Let me add a bit of, let's say it's Mr. Williams, and then phone number, let's just enter any number. That's due to time. That's, let's say, wills at gmail.com. That's the, then let's say it's outstanding, entered by, let's say, John, for example, approved by manager, date today, which is October 28th, for example. The day is being entered, approved under 2025. Now, product ID, let's see our product ID. Let's say P, this is the product ID. What is the product? Let's say what product? So many products on the head. Let's say Samsung phone, for example, and the category, let's say the category is phone. We have unit measure, let's say kg, then quantity sold, let's say 5, price, let's say this, and discount, 0, no discount. We move down, every other thing is okay. We come down to the payment method. We are getting, let's say, is POS, and then paid, let's say the person paid all. We can say 399 1 2 3 4 5. So no balance, and then let's say the person are paid. Now we have entered everything here, and our submit button is now active, where we can click to submit. Now when we submit, you will see what will happen. Everything here, all the details here will be submitted to our sales database and leave us with an empty form for another entry. So once I click on submit, we see what we have. So from that, you see that our form is being submitted. Everything is empty. Our sum is being submitted. If we get to our sales database, you will see what we have. You see that Lagos, Mr. Williams, the phone number, the email. If we continue, you see the other stuff we have, the Samsung phone and all that, the prices and that. So here the subtotal, if you double click, you show all that. So that becomes our sales entry, sales database. So if another person make purchase, our sales personnel enter the details here. Once the details are entered, he clicks this submit. Why I formatted it in this format so that it will not be visible to every public and hide. But please, I want to say this, that this is submit button. If you click on it, it will also submit an empty entry. As nothing is here, and if I click on it again, watch out, it submits empty for me. So if I go to sales database now, you see that what is submitted are empty stuffs. Why? Because it's active. Anytime you click on it, it will submit. So that's why it's being formatted in a way that it's not, all eyes will not be able to see it. So as when you finish entry, it will become active. When you finish entry, it becomes active. So this is how you can automate tasks. As a salesperson, it's not somebody filling details, you now copy it and go to the database and paste. Now I need to state this. After having designed your form, automate it using macros and all that, please note this, you don't change the names of the sheets. You don't change the names of the sheet that has these macros. This says database. If you change it, just changing the name, automatically the automation will not work. Now let's look at it. For example, I now come here and say, instead of calling it sales database, I say let me add ABC to it, ABC sales database, and hit enter. Now, the fact that I added ABC sales database to it, if I come here and click on submit, remember when I submitted empty stuff is submitted, but now let's say I want to submit another empty entry, for example, and click on it. You see automatically it shows me, it says there is a runtime error, subscript out of range. Why? Because the name is changed. So that is where the challenge now is. So to correct it, I can still come back here and remove this, hit enter. If I come back to my sales this and then say enter, you see that everything is entered. We have our entry here so that you can see that have also entered another empty entry. So this way we can automate forms. In a staff attendance, student attendance, whenever you are collecting data, you can design a form like this and give to your staff. Automated. Once they fill it, they submit. It goes to the database. Now, and another beauty of this is that I can decide to have my form in a workbook, in one workbook. Look at this. The name of this workbook is says entry form automation templates. I can decide to have the form in this particular workbook and my database in another workbook. Let's say you are creating a staff entry form. You don't want the staff to come to the database and make some changes. Someone can come here and change something and all that. Or you don't even want them to, you don't even want the person, the admin person in charge of forms and that to see entries, staff entries and all that. You just want him to, when a staff comes, let the person enter his details and submit. That's the attendance and submit. During the exit as well, let the person enter his details for exit. That way, that can be as well, that you can have a database for that, the entry and the exit. So is a situation where you don't want the person to have access to the database, or a sales rep you employed, you don't want the person to have access to the sales database. Is just let him keep on entering the sales records. When he enters sales, customers purchase, he submits, he goes to the database. You don't want the person to see the database. How do you do that? Using your Microsoft Excel. How you can do that is simple. Let me open a new workbook by pressing Ctrl N. That's, I have opened a new workbook. Like you can see, let me bring this here so that you see it clearly, and then let me bring this one here. All right. So now what I'm going to do is that here I'm going to call this one, let me call it ABC database now. Then let me have another one that I will call, let me call it ABC demo. All right. Now, having done this, having gotten this, we are going to record macro again. Before we do that, let me zoom in a bit. Before we do that, I'm going to enter some details here. So please follow me. I'm going to enter some details here. And let me select this, let's say location Aba, then customer ID, let's say C, this, the name, let's say Cyprian, let's go, phone number, this, email, cy@gmail.com. Remarks, let's say we put very good. Entered by, let's say we have Mary, approved manager, date 10/28/2025. All right. Then let's say we have HP, category laptop, units measure, quantity sold, let's say 7, price 450, and then discounts, let's say we have 2% discount this time around, and then payment method, let's say POS, and paid okay, and balance is this, let's say the payment is pending. Now we have entered these details. So to do this, what we are going to do now, once the details have been recorded, we are going to start our macros. So we go to developer, come to this button here, that's record macro. we click on it. What are we working on? Let's say we are working on form. Let's use the name of the macro, which is form 3. Let me use form 3 and hit enter. The macro has started. So what we will do is, what I will do is to come over to this select all this, copy. So once I copy, I come to demo. Instead of coming to this demo, I come to this workbook here. Click on this place, anywhere here, go to paste, select paste special, say paste as value, and then as transpose, and say okay. Now I have this. The next thing I will do is my date. This is the date. For example, I will go to number format, come here and make it short date. All right, still, once that is done, I don't even need this for this one. I have made a mistake anyway. So I made a mistake. Let me stop this. If I continue, it will still work, but I don't want to go that lane. Let me Control C. I don't want to go that lane. Let me stop this particular macro. So let me start a fresh one. Let's go to developer, come to macros, and then let me call it form 4 underscore 4, enter. So our macro is on. I will come over to this highlights, up to this copy, Control C. So once I copy it, come over to this particular workbook. This workbook is book 1. So if it's what I want, book 1, that's the name it will be. So before you do this, you can name your workbook, call it any name you like, and then go ahead to use it as your database, while this one is your sales entry form. So here I can come over to this on the demo here. For this place, come to this, go to paste special, paste it as values, and then as transpose, and say okay. So still on this, I will copy Control C. Then come to my database. Now right here in the database, I will paste on this, because later I can give it headings. Let me start from 2. So once I click here, let me go to under sales. I will have to insert. Well, under the insert, I will select insert copied sales. So this option comes out. You see it shows me shift cell right. I will select this one, shift cell down. So once that is done, I will say okay. Everything is done here. I can come here to format every stuff of that to make it short date. I can give it short date, and other ones which time will not permit us to do the other date. So once that is done, I will come over to my form here. I will come over to this form here, and then do the same thing. Start deleting them one by one. So I will come here and say delete, 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 delete as well. Every action I'm taking, Excel macro is recording it. So I will come over to this as well and say delete, delete, and then delete this. I will come over to this, delete, delete, and then delete this one as well. So I'm done. Once I'm done, the next thing I'm going to do is to go over to the macro and stop this macro. So once that is done, the macro is stopped. So I can come here. In order to have my headings, I can come here to copy this, Control C, and come over to this place. go to paste and paste it as transpose, you see we have all these details there. I can click on this. Let me make it this way. So we have our invoice name, sales person's name, and all that. The next thing we can do, I can make it our choice anyway. Let me go ahead and let's say select this, come here, make it white. So we have the what we call it, the column headers. So that is our macro. So let's go ahead and assign that macro we just recorded, that we want it to submit to this particular database, not to this one. So what do? I will right click here. Once I right click, I will go to assign macro. So instead of the one already on it is 2, I will reassign 4 to it. The form 4, that's the last one we did, and then say OK. So that is the macro that is running on this particular form. So let's enter details on this and see how it will submit for us. Here we select this, let's say location, let's say Scano, and then we have C dot this, and then name is let's say we use Yusuf, and phone number, let's say we have this. The email address, we can have you at gmail.com. Then we come over to this. Let's say we have very good, entered by, let's say, Evans, approved by the manager, and then the date is 10/28/2025. That's the date. Then products ID P this, and then product name, let's say Samsung TV, category, let's say TV, unit of measure, let's say we have kg, then quantity sold, let's say we sold 10, and the unit price, let's say we have this, and then discount, let's say we are giving 3% discount, we have this, and then here we have, let's say POS, and then let's say we have a paid full 8364000. Enter, and then payments paid, or let's say pending. Now everything is ready. So we can now click on submit. Now you see it's done. Automatically it's now submitted to this particular sales entry form. This is the database, this is our form. So this form can be on your PC, in the same PC, and you save it in another file. Whereas you open this particular form place for the sales rep, or it can be any form. You are a student attendance registration form, it can be any form. You automate it in Microsoft Excel. So to wrap up this, we can come over to this place to hide this. So let's say we select this, and then we come over to this and select this one as well, so that it becomes visible, and then come over to this and say no border. We remove border, and it looks as if this is our form. So when we scroll down, we see this as an entry form. So when you enter it will be submitted to the other database. It will be submitted to the other database. So if I click on submit, automatically it submits to the other database. So if I open that database now, you see that automatically is being submitted. All right, so that is on the aspect of the automated entry form using macros, using Excel macros. Now, having established that, we are going to I think, okay, having established that, we are going to talk a bit more on macros. There are certain things macro can help you to achieve before we go to data forecasting. There are certain things macro can help you to achieve. When you are working on macros, macro is used to automate tasks. Now, in Excel, as data analyst, let's say you receive data, and every now and then you receive data, you need to format it in a certain way. You need to format the data in a certain manner. And that data you receive, you format it. Every now and then you receive a certain data. And that data is formatted. But every day you receive such data. Every day you do the same formatting. You format it. Company will say, I want you to prepare this data in this format. Anytime we receive this data, prepare it in this format before forwarding it to so unit or so. And the same thing, the same type of data is what you are receiving. It's just that it has different entries. And you do the same formatting all over again every now and then before sending it to the unit or to the department you are asked to send it to. You can use Excel to automate that task, so that when you receive that particular stuff, you are going to do that immediately within a click. Within a click, everything is done. Now let's take for example. Let me use this as an example. Let me copy stuff like this. Let me copy this. And then let me paste it here. Let's say every time you receive, you receive this data, you receive data like this. And in receiving, every now and then you receive data like this. And when the data comes, the management have already told you the column headers, the things that should be on the heading for each of them as it comes. And you already know. Let's say this one is the sales ID, and then you call it sales ID. For example, call it sales ID. You move to the next one. Let me check what we have here. Store ID, product ID, and okay, I know what to do so that I don't go ahead. Let me just copy this. Let me just copy this, come over. Let's say I paste it somewhere here. I paste it somewhere here. Okay, now let me come here and call this. Now, let's say we are asked to put the column header, do some formatting, and apply some conditional formatting and all that. What are we going to do? We just need to come over to this place, go to developer, and start to record macro. Start to record macro. When I start recording macro, anything I do here, macros will be recording it. So let me go to developer and then start to record macro. What do I want? Let's say I call it task 1. task underscore 1. Let me use that and hit enter. The macro is running, so that should stop macro. So here I can call this cell ID. Then I will move to the next and call it store ID. Move to the next, I can call it products ID. Move to the next, call it product name. Move to the next, call it category. And then the next is dates. Next is, let's say we call it revenue. All right. Now that is what should be there. The next thing is I can come here, double click in order to give them auto fit. Then I can also come to the header like this, select the entire header, come over to this, come to this place, let's say assign it blue, and then come over to this, assign it white. That's okay by me. I can make it 12 as well. Now another thing I can do is to go to border. Under border, I can come over to more borders and then come to make it white, and then inner border and say okay. It gives the inner stuff white. Now another thing I can do is to come over to all this. If I like, or I can come over to this, hold Control, hold Shift, press the forward arrow, and then down arrow to highlight all, and another down arrow, so that no matter what I received, nothing is there. I can then apply all border. For example, let me come over to this and select all borders. So all these have borders. If I want it to be bold, if I want them to be bold, I can also bold them. Now these are formatting. I'm applying to all to this data set. I'm being asked to do so. So here, let me also bold this one as well, and let me apply all this. Excel is recording it. Let me apply the auto fit. Now the next thing here, let's say we are asked to any revenue that is less than $1,000, let's flag it red. So we can come over to this and click, go to conditional formatting, come to highlight cell rules, greater than or less than. So we are going to look at greater than, or let's say greater than any ones that is greater than 1,000. So I will type 1,000, and then we need it to be in green format. Is there any green here? We can go to custom and then come to field, and then we can select this light green. Okay, let's select this green and then come to font. Let's make it bold and then select the white color, for example, and we say okay. So we see what we have here, and then we say okay. Now this becomes what we have. This becomes what we have. Now, if that is okay by us, we are done on this. We can go over to developer and then stop our macros. Stop our macros. So once we stop macro, this is recorded. This is already recorded. Now let's take, for example, let's say for example, let me open another sheet now. This is sheet 3. And let me come to this place. I received a new data. Let's say, let me scroll down to, I receive a new data. Let me copy stuff like this. For example, I received this new data, Control C, and then I come over to this place and paste it. For example, I paste it here. Let me, now, having done that, instead of coming over to also do the same thing I did yesterday, let's say it's yesterday that I formatted this and sent. Instead of coming over to do the same thing I did yesterday, I should just come over to this place, come to macros. You see this option here, come to macros. Now when I come to macros, it brings all the macro that I have. The one I want it to run is this one, the task 1. So once I click on it, and then I will say run. So you see, no, this, there is a mistake in running this I did earlier. What? Okay, this is in 3. That is, let me delete this. Now let me copy this. If I want to confirm again, Control C, come over to this place, cell 3, let me come to this. Okay. Okay, it's 4. Let me paste this here. Let's go to macros, select this task, and then run. Of course, beautiful. Now the mistake there, you see everything run accordingly. The mistake there was, where is the sales ID? I think there was an error in that before, but everything that we can enter here, if you do that effectively, you will get the same result. Now what happened before was that I pasted this. You see where we started this macro. This is from 3, 4. So the best thing you do on your own is that whenever you are starting to do any repetitive task, you can start from A1. You can start from A1. Now let's say for example, I copy this and come over to this A1 and paste it, Control V, and then do stuff like this. So here I can then say I want to record my macros. I can come over to this and say record macro. So macro this, I can call it task _2. Hit enter. So once that is done, I can come over to this. My macro is on. I can come over to this, click, right click and say insert. It will insert a new column here for me. And then here I will call it sale ID. Then move here and then call this store ID. Move here, call this products ID. move here, call this products name, move here, call this category, here is date, then here is revenue. All right, now I have entered this. I can come over to this place, double click to give it auto fit. The next thing I can do is to come over to this, head to home, select this, increase it in size, and bold it. Now once that is done, I can come to this border, come to more borders, select the border color, come to border color, select white, then inside border and say okay. That gives me the separation, which I can also make auto fit. Then the next I can do as well is to come here, Control Shift forward down arrow to select all, and then here as well, head over to this place and say all border. That is applied. As well, I can also apply bold to them, bold colors to bold the text as well. Once that is done, I can as well also come over to this place. Is there any of my stuff that is less than 1,000 here? No. So I can say if is greater than 1,2, for example. So I can come here, hold Control, hold Shift, press the down arrow, and press the down arrow as well for the entire stuff. Go to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, greater than. If it's greater than 1,200, give me, come over to this place. Let's go to format. Let's use the previous one we used earlier, which is green. Come to font and select the font color to be white, and then we say okay, and we say okay. We have stuff like this, the ones above 1,2. Now we have done this and our macro is still on, our macro is still recording. So once that is done, if we are okay with it, we don't need any other stuff, the formatting, this is the way we are asked to format it, we go ahead and stop macro. So once we stop macro, let's open another sheet. The next day, let's say we receive another data. Let me go down to copy. Let's say we receive another data now. Control C, and then come over to this and paste it. Control V. This is the data we receive. This is the data we receive. Now, instead of doing that formatting all over again, before we send it, we can as well head over to our developer and come to macros. Now, in macros, we are now going to assign task 2. Task 2, and when you click on it, you say run. You see every of the thing is done, formatted. Everything is formatted. You don't need any stuff. It's just automatically, it applies the same formatting to this data. You can send it straight away. You don't need to be repeating all the previous stuff I did earlier. These are very powerful ways to work smart. Somebody might be coming, these things are taking time. Every time I'm doing the same thing and it's tiring. But with this, with ease, you do it with ease. You work smartly with ease. There is no need of you repeating your task. Any task you do repeatedly, you enter data repeatedly, you can design a form and use the submitting. When you data comes, you submit any stuff you do in Excel that you don't is repeated task. you automate it using Excel macros. You automate it using Excel macros. So this is a very powerful in Excel we use to work smart. We use it to work smart. You don't waste a lot of time. So that's why sometimes when you work with a white guy who understands this, he might give you these stats and tell you to bring it in the next 30 seconds. You should have been done with it. You will just receive a data now, just send it to me formatted immediately. You might be thinking, does this man want me to fly, or does he want me to, how does he want me to do that with these seconds? The reason is simple. He understood that you can use Excel macro to automate your task. So when you receive these things, it shouldn't delay you. So you work with a boss who understands this, and he's giving you a deadline, a timeline. You might be thinking, does he want me to work with speed of light or what? No, these are the things that makes you to work fast and work smart. When you understand Excel effectively in your workplace, you will become a huge asset, because most people in the workplace these days doesn't have these basic Excel skills that they use to automate tasks, they use to do repeated tasks over and over again. So tonight you have learned one of the powerful tools in Microsoft Excel to automate repeated tasks, so that you don't go ahead and worry yourself over stuff you can automate. You have learned how to automate entry forms, and that is our next assignment, project assignment. Design a business for your anywhere you work. If you're a student, if you're a core member, if you're a person, you are working a working class, design, if you are teaching, design student registration entry form. If you're a teacher and administrative personnel, design staff attendance form. Design the form, create the database where you automate the entry. Please, let's confirm if we can hear me. Someone is saying we can't hear me clearly. Someone is saying you can't hear me clearly. Let's confirm if you can hear me. Is okay from my end here. Someone is saying you can't hear me clearly. Please confirm. From my end here is okay. From my end is okay. I need us to confirm if you can hear me. And also, as our tradition is, if you have not liked the section, go ahead and click the like button. That's as our tradition is. Go ahead and click the like button. Let's say you do student results. They send you the student result to work on. The same is the same format. You calculate their CGPA and all that, and all. You can automate that task in Excel. The student result, the same way you work on it is the same. Every time you are working on student result, maybe you are the admin or so, you work on every time you work on it, they send student result for you to work on, and that you prepare it, format it, design you can do that in Excel, automate it. So when they send it to you, you just run the macro on that particular Excel template, on that particular data. Everything you have, you get it. So in this one, I'm not going to save it as template. I'm going to be saving it as Excel macro enabled. so that when I open this workbook tomorrow, my macro will be active. If not, when I open it, it will not be active. I will have to reboot the macro again. So I will click exec macro enabled. Remember, when you are sending it to me as your project, you are sending it as an exec macro enabled template. All right, I click on this and then click on save. Simple and short, that becomes my exec enabled macro workbook. All right, next is moving to data forecasting. We will be wrapping up this session this night with data forecasting. Before I proceed to that, confirm my audibility, confirm if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. We will be working with this data. We will be working with this data for our data forecasting. All right, I'm still waiting for us. I'm still waiting for us to drop in the chat. Confirm. Please, let's confirm if we can hear me, if we can see my screen. We are moving to data forecasting. We are moving to data forecasting. How to make prediction. Remember, when we started, we talked about different data analysis. We have the one we call the predictive data analysis. We have the one we call predictive data. We'll be talking on, we will be moving over to data forecasting. How we can forecast, how we can make predictions, how we can use historical data to forecast, to make some prediction, to make some forecasting as regards to the historical data we have. I'm still will confirm if we can go, if I'm audible, if I'm visible, and let me know what is before you. What can you see? Let me know. What can you see right there on your screen? And in the chat, if you are not able to chat, that means you are not yet subscribed to the channel, so that you can interact with us live. Thank you, much appreciated. Okay. Let me know what you can see right there on your screen. Let me know what you can see right there on your screen. I'm still waiting for our response so that I know we are all on the same page before I move to data forecasting this night. In data forecasting, we have, in data forecasting, using exec functions, we have, in focus, we have 4 major we'll be talking about this night. We have 4 major data forecasting functions we'll be talking about this night. Here is our sales data. let's say we want to make use of our historical data. This is sales data 2020. When we go down, if we go down, control down, you see down to 2024, February down to 2024, control up. So we want to make use of this historical data to forecast. Let's say we come here, we have, let me come here and we call it H dates. We have the H dates. Let me call this one the H revenue. Historical date, historical revenue. All right. Now, historical revenue. These are sales we made on the 1st of January, different sales. On January, we have these sales on January, February. These are sales we made in January. After that, we record the ones we made in February and all that. Now, let's take, for example, we want to forecast. We want to forecast what our revenue will be in the month of January 2026, and what our revenue will be in the month of February 2026. That is our forecast dates, not historic date rather. This is our F dates. Then this is our F revenue. Here is the date. This is our F revenue. Let's say here we want to find out what our how would I put it? Our forecast date will be for the 1st of January 2026. If I drag down, it gives me 230. So this is not what I want. I want it in 2nd, 1st, 2026. All right. And then I will highlight these two and drag down. Let's say I want to know we want to forecast what our revenue should be. We want to forecast what our revenue should be. Month of January 2026, what will be the revenue? Month of February 2026, what will be the revenue? What will be our revenue forecast? Here in the forecast, the first forecast we have here, okay, let me do this. Let me bring this down a bit. Under this forecast, I'm going to have dot linear. Let me call it linear. We have linear. We also have ETS. We also have seasonality. All right. We also have seasonality, and this is our forecast date. Let me merge the two together and bring it here. Okay. And let me merge this. All right, our forecast revenue. Now, in forecasting, when you use linear for straight line, when we talk about linear graph, it's a straight line graph. When we talk about linear equations of the unknown, power to the 1. Now, when we use linear is, if it's a line, it's a linear graph, a straight line graph. If it's decreasing on a straight line. Linear doesn't put into consideration some factors that might affect revenue, like seasons. Linear don't put seasonality, seasons into consideration. For like sales, there are like some seasons. During rainy season, sales might not be up. During dry season, sales might be up, depending on the industry. So it's when you are forecasting using linear doesn't put seasonality into consideration. You only use linear when the subject data doesn't have any season effect. It's not affected by seasons. Then you can use linear forecasting. But the outcome is affected by seasons. If sales increases in the summer, if sales decreases in the winter, in the rainy seasons, in the festive periods, festive seasons and the likes, ETS linear doesn't include seasons. So the best to use when there is sales data and that is to use sales.focus.ets. What does ETS stands for? ETS stands for exponential triples model. That's what ETS stands for. Exponential triples model. Let me type it here. Exponential triples model. If I'm not mistaken, post-model. So that is what ETS stands for. Seasonality is where it shows us the number of seasons in our data sets. Number of seasons in our data sets. So for us to forecast monthly, this data here we have here is in daily. We are seeing it is in daily, but we want to forecast monthly. So what do? We data set is in monthly format. Our data set is in monthly format. Go with me. When we are learning some functions, we don't learn them just for learning sake. We learn them to apply. These are daily. These are in daily formats, as we can see here. What we are seeing here in daily format. So I want to turn this data into monthly format. This is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, until the month of January gets to 31st. It finishes. So let me zoom in a bit so that we can see this data very well. So as you can see here, you are seeing this is a daily entry. Our sales each day, the daily sales. But what I'm forecasting, what I'm asked to forecast on, I'm asked to forecast what our revenue should be by the month of January 2026. Now we have started to be all right. I guess we are back. Now what you can see here is that it's giving us the total revenue for the month of January 2020. The total revenue for the month of January 2020. I need to come over to this place and then double click. It calculates for the others. So if I double click here, it's calculating the one of February for me. If I double click here, it's calculating the one of April for me, and so on and so forth. So it calculates others for me, as we can see it right here. So I have my historical data for monthly in the monthly format because I'm forecasting monthly. That's why I need to bring this data into a monthly format so that I can have something more substantial. That notwithstanding, that doesn't mean you can use this. The time you are using this, your monthly, unless you want to forecast daily forecast, this is in daily time limit. Is in daily 24 hours. So the cycle that is here is 24 hour cycle, one day. So if you are forecasting daily, let's say your manager wants you to get the January forecast, all the days from 1st January to 31st January 2026, then you can use this data set as it is. if what is here is 1st January, 2nd January, 3rd January down to 31st January, you can use this data as it is, because what we have here is daily entry, daily forecast, monthly revenue, what our revenue in January 2026 should be, within what interval it should be. That's what we are looking at here. So we need to bring this data set in a form where we get our monthly total revenue in the month of January 2020 using the stuff I use. It is done. We have gotten our let me push it down so as in the same range with this. So this is our historical dates. Now what do I do now? I can come over to this, hold Control Hold Shift, press the down arrow, then come over to this place and convert it to say short date. Now this should be okay. It should. Maybe I'm the one. All right. Control backspace to get back where here. I'm going to change this to 1st January like this. 2020, I'm going to do this to this, and then February. Let me do this one like this. I'm going to do this like this 31st. 1st January 31st. I'm going to do this 2nd 28 2020. All right, and then you see we are getting something, and okay, let me do this first. Control C, copy this somewhere, copy this, Control C somewhere, copy this, Control C. Control C and Control C, and let me paste it here. But now I will paste it as values. Okay, so that I can repaste it on top here itself. There's no. Let me do that again. That reminds me. Control, I will repaste it here, paste it as values, Alright, so that will not be linked to this. Alright, so that will not be linked to this. So what I can now come here to do is I can come here and say hit enter. Okay, then this one first. Okay, then this one first 31st. Let me put 21 here and see if Excel will dictate the pattern for me. So here I didn't dictate that. Issue here, Jan 2 here, Jan Feb 2020. double click down. Okay, I think this is okay for me. It gives me that pattern T 2024. It gives me the pattern T 2024. I wanted it to be ending of the month, but there is a formula we can use to achieve that. That will be in the next section, or I might not have the time to do that. However, we are seeing that in the month of 2026, in 2020, what our revenue is 33,000. That's our revenue. Then when we come to 2021, our revenue increases to 48,000. We come to 2022 January, it increases to 63,000. We come to 2023 January, it increases to 2023 January, it increases to 73,000. So from in 2024 January, it increases to 93,000 something. So it increases to 93,000 something. So from the data in 109,000 based on upward trend, all things being equal. However, I drag it down, it does for the rest, it does for the others we have here. If I double click, it does the same thing, it does the same thing. That's for focus.linear. Under linear increase, that's for focus.linear. Under linear increase, you see they are all on the increase. If I plot this graph, if I go ahead and plot this graph, go to insert and come to the chart, and it's an upward trend. It's an upward trend. Our revenue is in the upward trend using focus.linear. Our revenue is in the upward trend. However, let me delete this. For now, that's our chart. But let's do the same with focus.ets. Focus, this.ets. Then what's the target date? That is my target date. Then what is values we are looking at is the revenue here. We hold control, hold shift, press down arrow to highlight the range. Control back timeline. That's our historical timeline. We come over, hold control, hold shift, press down arrow to highlight it, control backspace. Then the next thing is asking, we don't know. We want Excel to use his hand to dictate in this data. Is data Excel can dictate it. So what we do is just we close the parentheses. When we close the parentheses, we are asking Excel to dictate whether there are seasons in this data and use it to forecast what our revenue will be. And I hit enter. Now you look at this, you see we have a different stuff now. This is giving us something high, but here ETS brings season into consideration based on different seasonality in this data, in our data set. This is mostly what our revenue should be, 70,233, plus or minus, within plus or minus range. So if I double click it down, you see, wait. Okay, I know the challenge. I did not absolutely reference this. You see, that's why it gave me an incomplete result that I don't agree with. So it gives me this. When I absolutely reference it, hit enter, we have that same result. Now, if I double click this, you see we have now a different result. That's why you need to absolutely reference this range. If you don't, when you move down, it will move down as well. So we have this by February, we should be having this by March, our sales should increase, and all that.